Your brain reacts to being ignored the same way it reacts to physical pain. Not metaphorically, not emotionally, literally. When someone deliberately ignores you, the same neural circuits that fire when you burn your hand or break a bone begin lighting up inside your brain. Your mind reads silence as injury. And the unsettling part is, most people have no idea they're doing it to you. You've probably felt it before. You send a message. They read it. No reply. You say something in a group conversation. Everyone keeps talking like your words never existed. You walk into a room, and someone who used to greet you suddenly looks past you, like you're part of the furniture. It's subtle, quiet, almost invisible. But inside your head, something begins to twist. Your thoughts start racing. Did I say something wrong? Did I annoy them? Did they lose respect for me? And the longer the silence lasts, the louder those questions become. Because the human mind isn't designed to handle social invisibility. Your brain is built for recognition, for acknowledgement, for the small signals that tell you exist in someone else's world. When those signals disappear, your mind goes into survival mode. But here's the uncomfortable truth most people never talk about. People rarely ignore others by accident. Ignoring someone is one of the oldest psychological power moves in human behavior. It's quiet. It leaves no evidence, but it shifts the balance of control instantly. The moment someone ignores you, they create uncertainty inside your mind. And uncertainty makes you chase clarity. You start checking your phone more often, replaying conversations in your head, looking for clues in their tone, their behavior, their body language. You start thinking about them far more than they're thinking about you. And that's where the real power shift happens, because the person who cares less always holds more control in a relationship. Ignoring someone is a silent way of communicating one thing. I don't need your attention. And humans are wired to pursue what feels just out of reach. That's why silence can pull you in stronger than words ever could. But not everyone ignores you for the same reason. In reality, there are 3 kinds of people who use this behavior. And once you see the difference, the silence starts making a lot more sense. The first type ignores you because they're protecting their own ego. These are the people who feel slightly threatened by you. Maybe you're more confident. Maybe people respect your opinion. Maybe you remind them of something they lack. Instead of confronting that feeling, they quietly distance themselves. Ignoring you becomes a defense mechanism. If they don't acknowledge you, they don't have to compare themselves to you. You'll notice this type especially in competitive environments, workplaces, friend groups, places where social status matters more than people admit. They won't openly attack you. That would be obvious. Instead, they simply erase your presence. Your ideas get ignored. Your jokes fall into silence. Your existence becomes inconvenient. Not because you did something wrong, but because you exist in a way that unsettles them. The second type ignores you because they want control. This is more intentional, more calculated. These people understand something about human psychology most people don't. Attention is currency. And whoever controls attention controls emotional influence. When they ignore you, they're creating psychological tension. They know your brain will try to close the gap. You'll text again, talk louder, try harder to be noticed. And every time you do that, the dynamic shifts further in their favor. You start investing energy. They invest nothing. It's the same tactic used in manipulation, toxic relationships, and power games. Silence forces the other person to do the emotional work. You might think they're simply busy or distracted, but sometimes that silence is very deliberate, a test to see how much effort you're willing to give just to be acknowledged. Then there's the third type, and this one is the most uncomfortable to accept. Some people ignore you because, to them, you simply don't exist. Not emotionally, not socially, not psychologically. Your presence doesn't register as relevant in their internal world. Humans naturally filter people based on perceived importance. Who matters? Who doesn't? Who affects their life? Who doesn't? Your brain does this too, whether you realize it or not. Think about how many strangers you pass every day without truly seeing them. To them, you might be background noise, not because you're worthless, but because their mind categorized you as outside their focus. And the hardest part about this type is that they aren't trying to hurt you. They're simply indifferent, and indifference cuts deeper than hostility. At least hostility acknowledges your presence. Indifference erases it. Now here's where things get even darker. Because the moment someone ignores you, your brain begins reacting in ways you can't fully control. Inside your head, a system called the anterior cingulate cortex starts firing. This area of the brain monitors social rejection. Thousands of years ago, being excluded from your tribe meant death. Isolation meant vulnerability. No protection, no resources, no survival. So your brain evolved to treat social exclusion as a physical threat. That's why the feeling of being ignored is so intense. Your nervous system doesn't see it as a small social inconvenience. It sees danger. Your body releases stress hormones. Your mind begins searching obsessively for explanations. And the more ambiguous the silence is, the stronger the reaction becomes. This is why unanswered messages can feel so mentally exhausting. Your brain hates unresolved social signals. It wants closure, understanding, confirmation. Silence gives it none of those things. So, it loops again and again and again. But here's the part that changes everything once you truly understand it. Being ignored often reveals far more about the other person than it does about you. People project their psychology through their behavior. Someone insecure hides through distance. Someone manipulative hides through silence. Someone indifferent hides through neglect. Ignoring someone is rarely about the value of the person being ignored. It's about the emotional habits of the person doing the ignoring. And once you see that clearly, something interesting happens. The silence stops feeling like a verdict and starts feeling like information. Information about their maturity, their priorities, their emotional intelligence. Because healthy people don't erase others to feel powerful. They communicate, they acknowledge, they show basic respect for the presence of another human being. Which brings us to the final and most important question. What do you actually do when someone ignores you? Most people respond in the worst possible way. They chase attention. They explain themselves repeatedly. They try harder to be liked. They overanalyze every interaction. And, ironically, that reaction makes the ignoring even more powerful, because it confirms the dynamic. One person holds attention. The other person is seeking it. But the moment you stop feeding that dynamic, the entire psychological structure collapses. Silence only has power when you're emotionally reacting to it. The strongest response to being ignored is something very few people are capable of. You simply redirect your attention, not as a performance, not as revenge, but as a quiet decision. You stop investing energy where acknowledgement doesn't exist. Your mind stops chasing explanations. Your focus returns to people who see you, hear you, value your presence without hesitation. And something strange happens when you do this. People who ignored you often begin to notice, not because you demanded attention, but because the chase disappeared. And the human mind always becomes curious about what stops chasing it. But by that point, something inside you has already shifted. You no longer need their acknowledgement to confirm your existence. Because the most dangerous thing you can do in a world where people play attention games is become someone who refuses to play them at all.